Hi, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Adulting with Wine. I'm your host, Sasha. I hope you all are having a great week and it's been filled with abundance and peace. So, this week, I actually had a vote on Insta about the next episode that would be posted, which you're listening to right now. And many of you voted for this topic, Black grief. If you are not following the podcast on Instagram, I highly urge you to do it. It's just Adulting with Wine on Instagram as well. You may get to, choose the next episode. I was inspired to talk about Black grief following the shooting at Tops Friendly Markets in Buffalo. I was inspired to talk about Black grief following the mass shooting at Tops Friendly Market in Buffalo, where 10 Black people were killed in the supermarket on May 14th. Since then, there was another mass shooting at a school in Texas, in Uvalde, Texas, hopefully I'm saying that right, where 21 people, 19 students and 2 teachers were also killed as well. I just want to say condolences to all of the families. I can't imagine losing a family member in such a violent way, and I pray that you guys find healing during this time. First, I want to say that there are so many different ways and angles to discuss Black grief. So I think I may want to do multiple parts in the future discussing Black grief, because I was talking with you guys on Instagram. There were so many other things that came up, and I'm like, I definitely have to do a part 2 for this because I don't want to sit here with y'all all day. But today I want to focus on the Buffalo shooting and why I don't post about news like this on social media, whether it be my personal social media or the Adulting with Wine Instagram. I know that I may get some backlash for this, and I'm completely prepared for that, but I wanted to give you guys some insight as to my point of view as to why I don't do it and how it affects me. So in order for me to explain that, I want to zoom out a little bit. Daily, there are Black people who are killed in this country as well as around the world for no other reason than the fact that they're Black and people are racist. But I don't think we realize how traumatizing it is to consume information about people who are being killed who look like us, and for the reason that they look like the way that we do. And I don't think we, especially in our community, I don't think we take enough time to ask ourselves, like, how do we cope with that? How do we return to work normally? And for a lot of us, it's just as simple as, we have to do it because what else are we supposed to do? And I don't really think that's healthy. Many of us do this without thought. We just log in back to work, we go back to our office, we continue with our normal routine as if nothing happened. And for me, I would say that was something that happened for me as well until COVID happened. And I was consistently working from home. Hearing about the George Floyd shootings and the many people that also died that year in 2020 really triggered me. I mean, I had a huge one-to-one meeting with my manager where I was crying about this information, and of course some other things were tied to it, but just this information coming out during a time where a lot of us were stuck at home anyway because of this, viral disease infection that was spreading, and it was still happening. We're still being killed for racism in a time where you think that many people will come together. Was really hard for me to just be in my normal routine. It was then that I decided I did not want my social media to be a place to discuss these type of matters, whether it be my own and again the Adults with Wine Instagram. A lot of us come to social media as a place to relief from the world, and I don't think that us seeing the same content that triggers us is necessarily helpful. So I wanted to be one of the spaces on the internet where you don't have to consume that information. On my personal Instagram, I did share a few posts about the Uvalde shooting, but it was like nothing major and nothing that would be super traumatizing or triggering to anyone. At least I hope not. But I think on the other side of things, many people argue that not sharing prevents awareness. And to that, I say, like, awareness at what cost? Your mental health, your sanity? It just doesn't seem like a fair price to pay in the name of awareness. I also wanted to discuss like why this is personally so triggering for me and why I don't post about it in particular. There's so much talk about what black people can do to avoid being shot or targeted by police, what is also known as respectability politics. Um, the most heartbreaking thing about the Buffalo shooting to me is that these people weren't doing anything. They were doing, they were in their normal routine. They were grocery shopping. They were doing nothing wrong. They were just simply black in the wrong place. One of the victims, he was actually buying a cake for his son's third birthday. Just think about this. Like, you are in the grocery store, Publix, Fine Fair, Stop and Shop, wherever you shop, and all of a sudden there is a mass shooter in this grocery store when you're picking up your tomatoes, your strawberries, your grapefruit. Isn't that crazy? Like, I can't even imagine that happening. Like, there was nothing they could have done in that situation. And that's the thing that angers me when people say that you could have did this. And I feel like even some black people do this. They're like, all you have to do is this, and you'll be fine. And it's just like, it is not that simple. If it was that simple to survive in America as a black person by just following the rules, I think we would have all done that by now. And I think this shooting is a great example of that. And this is something that brings me anxiety daily. The fact that you can just be out and be black and be targeted, be killed, be a victim of racism in a mass shooting. And just on a daily basis, I just think the place I can go can affect whether I live or die. And I won't even know how to expect it or what to do about it. And the Uvalde shooting case, this was also the case for those kids. But it's a little bit different when you know that you're being targeted just for being black. These kids had no basis of why they're being attacked. It was just somebody who chose to shoot up a school. But as far as the Buffalo shooting, these people were targeted for, he went to a black neighborhood, a black grocery store where black people shop to kill them. It's something that brings me anxiety daily as a black woman who lives in America. In this world, actually, because I don't know about you guys, I also enjoy travel, and they're following travel pages. There are people who, constantly have dialogue about which countries are safe to travel as a black person. And it's just like the number of things that you have to take into consideration is just endless. A specific situation comes to mind when I think about my anxiety around being black is I remember being drunk in Times Square, and I was mad at my ex. Me and my ex-boyfriend had gotten into an argument at the time, and he had left me in Times Square by myself. Not by myself, but we were with his friend. He left me with the friend that I had just met, and he was walking me to the train station, to go. He actually took me all the way home. So he was taking me home, but we were drunk. We were having a discussion. We were obviously loud because I was drunk. I don't remember if he was drunk, but I'm assuming he was drunk. He was also drinking. We were walking down the street, and all of a sudden, these two cops just pull up on us. Like, what happened? What's going on? What's happening here? And I immediately break down. I'm like, there's nothing going on. I'm like, don't hurt this man. There's nothing going on. Mind you, I told you, I did not know this man. But I had so much fear in my spirit that something was going to happen to him. Not only did I think something was going to happen to him, I had so much anxiety about the fact that it was related to me and that I might have something to do with the reason that something could have happened to him. I just felt like he was in danger immediately, even though nothing happened, thankfully. But just them approaching us gave me that anxiety of that something can happen to this man. And I don't think many of us realize, especially like, I don't want to feel like that. That's not something that should be a normal feeling. That's not something I should just have to walk around and carry with me. However, I am always alert like this when I see cops wherever I am. I generally don't want cops to speak to me. I don't really ask them questions unless I need to. And if I do, it is genuinely in a space where there's a lot of other people around. There needs to be witnesses if they finna do something to me. As far as racist, because, cops aren't the only people who facilitate, violence against Black people. I'm lucky to be in a place where I've only been around hidden racist. I know there's a better word for that, but I don't know what it is right now. Hopefully, maybe I'll put it on the screen or something for those watching on YouTube. But I've never been around somebody really who was overtly racist and hated Black people, to my face at least. And it's crazy that I have to use lucky as the word because nobody should really be racist. But the times that I have been in contact with hidden racists at work, they have put me in some pretty bad positions where, like, I could have lost my job. And I just felt like even the hidden racists that I have met and been in contact with, some of them don't even realize that they're being racist. They think that what they are doing to me is fair treatment. And I don't even know what to say to that. And where I am right now with it is just like, sometimes I really, in terms of like anxiety and living in a world with trauma of experiencing and knowing that you can be killed or attacked for being Black, and that's just it. And mind you, being Black is something that you are born with. You cannot decide to be Black. You cannot ask God to be Black. You cannot do any of that. So knowing that I walk around with this trauma because of that, sometimes I have this jealousy of white people who feel this entitlement to security, safety. They have this naive view that safety is a thing in this world and that nothing can happen to you just because. And that's something that would really piss me off in my last job. Working in real estate, a lot of them would just be like, they'd write in and say that it was an unsafe neighborhood. Mind you, these people are living in New York, where I wouldn't say New York is like the most dangerous place to live, but when you're talking about living in Brooklyn, what is really the definition of safety? I just think that there is an entitlement when you can say that where you are is safe, that you can build safety by shutting people out. There's, like I said, I think I'm going to have to do multiple parts about this because it is so multi-layered, and I could honestly sit here all day talking about this, and but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. And of course, y'all don't have 5 hours to listen to me talk. So I think that very soon I will do a part 2 discussing, the other realms of what you guys bring to the table and what you guys feel about Black grief. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, condolences to all the families of the Buffalo and Uvalde shootings. Please follow the podcast on Instagram at Adulting with Wine, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.